Anytime you see this combination of pictures, you know the news isn't going to be good news. This 3-year-old little girl was viciously murdered by the man on the right when he drove his car into a family, emerged from the vehicle, and started blasting away with a shotgun. The attack was, quote unquote, random in nature. The woman in the middle tried to intervene to save the family. She was also severely injured. You know, if these two victims had a different skin color and the perpetrator had a different skin color, this would be on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, every major news channel, 24/7.
Michigan man arrested and charged after allegedly crashing into a family and opening fire with a shotgun, with the violent assault leaving a 3-year-old girl dead. Alexander Banks being held without bond in the wake of authorities alleging he was behind the February 13th attack. The Eaton County Sheriff's Office warning residents on X at the time, an active shooter yet to be captured, and to lock their doors. After Alexander allegedly took aim at a family while behind the wheel, allegedly exiting the car and firing repeatedly with a 12-gauge shotgun, and allegedly beating the adult victims with his bare hands, then taking off on foot before his eventual capture. In an affidavit obtained by WILX, Alexander allegedly told investigators he had been hit with threats online telling him, quote, he had to kill someone to save his family. Alexander now charged with first-degree premeditated murder, 3 counts of assault with intent to murder, plus a slew of weapons charges.
Man allegedly drove car into family, killing 3-year-old in pink wagon and critically injuring 72-year-old trying to save them. Alexander Lamar Banks Jr. has been arrested on multiple charges, including murder. Michigan community is reeling after a weekend shooting killed a 3-year-old girl and injured an elderly woman trying to save her. Police responded to an active violence incident in Delta Township, Michigan on Friday, February 13th, where they found 4 victims, the Eaton County Sheriff's Office said in a statement on Sunday, February 15th. They administered life-saving measures, but a 3-year-old girl was pronounced dead at the scene, according to the statement. The other victims were a 37-year-old man, a 33-year-old woman, and a 72-year-old woman. Authorities arrested 21-year-old Alexander Lamar Banks Jr. on several charges, including premeditated murder, the Eaton County Prosecuting Attorney's Office announced on Tuesday. Officials have not publicly released the names or any identifying information about the victims. Investigation revealed Banks allegedly crashed into the family, who were out on a walk with Harlow in a pink wagon, the Lansing State Journal reported, citing court documents. According to security camera footage cited in court documents, Banks then emerged from a vehicle, dropped a backpack, and allegedly opened fire on the family, striking all 3 members. He then seemed to reload the gun and allegedly began shooting the family again, per investigators. The 72-year-old woman, who's been identified in GoFundMe as Barb, reportedly tried to save the family and was critically injured. In the fundraiser, Barb's family said she ran directly into danger and saved 2 lives by distracting the gunman and taking his attention away from the family he was shooting at. Investigators allege Banks struck her several times. Barb suffered some severe trauma to her head and face, had to undergo brain surgery, per the fundraiser, which was cited by the Lansing State Journal. Barb's intervention reportedly stopped the alleged attack on the child's mother, who alleged to police Banks had pulled her hair so hard she thought he was trying to break her neck, the Lansing State Journal reported, citing court documents. Authorities allege Banks told him he carried out the attacks because he had been prompted by online threats, per court documents. Banks allegedly told police that the threats stated he had to kill someone to save his family, and he drove around the neighborhood and targeted the family. That's the mother, Paige Smith. The details are currently unclear whether she was one of the people injured in the attack, but we can make our assumptions. That's her daughter right there. That's 3-year-old Harlow, who was murdered by this animal. That's Barb Cook on the right, the older woman who tried intervening to save lives and was severely injured. And this is the demon right here that committed this act. And when you do a Google search, interestingly enough, a bunch of images of guys that look just like this guy pop up. You know, obviously we see it's images of him. Then we start getting into some of the lookalikes. Look at this, guys. This is really fascinating, actually. You know, pretty disturbing. But look at all these guys that fit his exact profile that are charged with shooting people, murdering people, committing all kinds of crimes. It's just very, very interesting. And if this guy was this guy, and that little angel and that heroic old woman were this little girl and this old woman, making this case right here, a situation like this, it would be international news, at least national, and they would be talking about it 24/7. But because it's a case like this, it hardly gets a mention. And then when you Google this situation, you don't get any national coverage. Not one national outlet covered this, except for this MSN article right here. And this is just a reprint of a CBS Detroit article. Make sure you follow me, subscribe, and upvote, or like my video. We are in this together. Resist their lies.